Good morning. This is the Sunday school lesson for this Sunday, the 15th of July. It's summertime, so attendance has been low. So we're kind of combining the youth, elementary, pre-K classes. Last week, as an example, we had 2 whole people here. So it's not going to be overwhelming, even with those 3 classes combined. And the lesson I'll prepare will be around the same story, but there will be things that will appeal to the pre-K group as well as the youth group. And you could have 2 staff in here to support you if needed because they don't have other classes they need to attend. So just FYI. This lesson is about the Psalm 23, The Lord is my shepherd. It's on page 128 of the Shine Bible. That's the story. Obviously super short in terms of words. Would be a great idea to have the youth read to the younger kids. I'd like to engage them as in kind of a helper mode, so they're not just listening and doing stuff. They're engaged with the younger kids as appropriate. So the lesson is The Lord is my shepherd. There's a couple of interesting things in the lesson that I like, not really in terms of doing them, but for information to share. So as they've read the story, and there are a couple of good questions. So on the lesson page 45 has the wonder and reflect, and I've identified 2 that I like. So the ones I think are interesting are, when have you felt helpless and who helped you? And that is going to be something that's going to be maybe for the older kids to answer. And when have you felt safe, and what can you do to make other people feel safe? And that's something I think more of the kids can participate in. Then there's a fun fact to share. This is under spiritual practice. So I don't actually think we should do this. I just think it might be interesting as the kids have read the story to let them know that in Bible times, shepherds put oil on the heads of their sheep to guard against flies and other insects that could get in the ears of the sheep and make them sick. So the oil on the sheep's made the sheep's head slippery, and so literally the insects would just slide off. Pretty clever. So anointing oil has also become then a spiritual practice, and we anoint people by putting a small amount of oil on their forehead or hands. It's a blessing and healing. Excuse me. And oil can be a sign of God's protection, just as it was for the sheep. So then they want you to go on and anoint people, but I don't want to put oil on our children, so we're going to skip that part and just share that tidbit of information because I personally found it quite interesting. And then for the activity, this is something all the ages will enjoy. We've done something similar to this with just the elementary group, and they really liked it. We're creating Psalm 23 bracelets. So they suggest using pipe cleaner, and I think probably for the little kids that would be a good idea, the youngest, because that'll be easier to slip beads on without worrying about them coming off. For the older kids, I'll have like some twine, like really thin rope kind of material I have already. I did jewelry making interest group for youth camp, so I have all these supplies that they string with different colored beads to represent different aspects of the psalm. So their recommendations are green beads for the green pastures, blue for the waters, brown for the paths, purple for the dark sky or the dark valley, red or wooden beads for the rod and staff, multicolored beads for a table prepared with food, yellow for anointing oil, things like that. And you could talk about what these colors represent in the beads as they're making their bracelets. And I'll have all those supplies on the bookshelf ready to go. And again, the youth can make their own, and then they can also help the younger group get that done. I say it as though you're going to have an actual group, and I know you won't because it's July and everyone's on vacation. But anyway, but Nora will be here. Lucky you. So that's what we're doing. Let me know if you have any questions or if there's something else in the lesson you see that you want to engage the kids on. I also have, in case the littlest ones get bored or don't focus, I have a short little connect the dots. There's like 5 of these pages, and you can make more if you need them, of the sheep in the pasture. So I think that'll work well for them. Thank you so much, and let me know if you have questions.